Welcome. So I hope last week you were able to notice how much gossiping there is in the world and contribute to cleaner energy coming from you and awareness, really. It makes such a huge difference in your life. And I hope that the Five Agreements taught you lots of things. It's such a beautiful book. So this week, big week. This is Eureka week. We're going to start talking about, at the beginning of the lesson, about intuition. And intuition is a superpower that we've forgotten how to use. So it's kind of like being able to read your body in a way that it answers questions for you. How amazing that we have these skills that we don't use. It's kind of like exercising muscles that we've forgotten about. It's like with the mind, we've been practicing and exercising right brain. So this week we're going to be looking at our heart chakra. How can our heart chakra and our solar plexus work with us to give us guidance and answers to simple questions? So intuition comes from the Latin verb inturi, which is to contemplate your solar plexus, to trust your gut. This is where this saying comes from. And it gives us the ability to acquire knowledge without the interference of reason. The head, again, getting in the way. So we can answer things from within. We don't need to ask our mind, because our mind is probably going to give us an answer to do with ego. We can trust our inner knowing. And I'm going to show you a technique this week where you're going to feel something that you probably haven't felt before, which with development can become a massive tool to help you in your life. So there are two chakras that are useful in this exercise. Now, everyone talks about your solar plexus being your intuition, which it is. But when I was learning these steps, I focused on my heart chakra. So I'm going to teach you the way that I know, because I can say with 100% confidence that this works for me, and I can ask myself a question at any time. Doesn't work with horse racing and lottery, unfortunately, but with things in your day-to-day life, to give you a little bit of extra assistance to make you feel safer, more on track, to use your body for what it was designed for, using your higher self for your superpowers. So all of this is about trust. Trust is such a massive achievement in your personal development, and it isn't easy, especially if you're having a little bit of a tough time. But hopefully after this lesson today, you're going to look at trust in a completely different way. So when we look at this technique that I'm going to show you today, you just have to really stay in the present moment and believe that all of this is going to help you. Be open-minded, kind of surrender to this new knowing, which is going to guide you and help you through your life. So trust is a knowing gained by being present, to use your intuition, to trust your gut or your heart, in my case. You need to take the time to feel this sensation that I'm going to show you today, and to continue building this muscle so that it's more effective in your day-to-day use. Believing produces results. Surrendering. Hoping, which is lack of, is very different. It means that you don't believe from the very beginning. I hope this happens. I hope I get that job. I hope that boy is on the train today. Hope is not believing. It's lack of. So if you are throwing out to the universe, and we're going to be looking at how the universe works today, if you're throwing out, it's not going to happen, guess what the universe is going to give you back? It's not going to happen. Everything has to be done in a way of belief and strength. like in lesson 3. It's all about bringing everything into the present moment. I have, I can, I will, I do, rather than I hope it can. It's throwing yourself into this place out of the present moment. The universe is always listening. I know that sounds really weird, but it's about vibration. If the vibration is I don't believe, the vibration back to you will be I don't believe. And that's what your life is going to be like. You're back over here. Why is my life so bad? Why can't I break out of this cycle? It's because you are not in the moment. You are not living every step and keeping yourself focused on the now. So this exercise that I'm going to show you today will hopefully show you, actually I shouldn't be using that word, will show you a feeling in your heart center. You might feel bubbles. You might feel like a wave of energy. You may feel your heart lifting. It will be something that you haven't really experienced before. So close your eyes and let's just take a nice deep breath and get ourselves nicely centered. Bring your attention to your third eye so we're in balance. Take a nice breath, just relax your shoulders, just get yourself nice and comfortable. And bring your focus now down through your throat, down, down, down into your heart center. And I want you to become your heart muscle. So you are feeling everything that your heart feels. You are feeling the blood flow through the ventricles. You are feeling the warmthness of the body temperature of blood. You are feeling the sensation of the beating of your heart. You are becoming this muscle, this beautiful muscle that works for us every day without thought. It just keeps us alive. So just get very familiar and comfortable with this beautiful organ that serves us. And I'm going to ask you some questions. If you feel a fluttering or a lifting, the answer is yes. If you don't feel anything at all, then the answer is no. Am I an immortal being of light and love, having a temporary experience on earth? Am I following my life purpose? Do I care for myself and my family? Do I have the ability to do great things? Am I truthful and authentic? Could I do better? Do I need to do more spiritual practice? Am I part of the magnificent whole? So now you can bring yourself back into the room. And did you feel any sensations that were unusual? Lifting, bubbling, this energy? My lovely cameraman's nodding his head here. Brilliant. So this takes time to build. What I did was I actually got a question book of facts kind of like a quiz book, and I practiced and practiced and practiced, asking myself and then closing my eyes, asking myself the question and feeling for this answer, and it was amazing. So you have to work with this to get this really strong, so that you can then, while you're having a conversation with somebody, ask yourself a question and you can feel it while you're in that conversation. Gives you guidance. Now, if the heart is not working for you, you can do the same with your solar plexus. For me, the heart is so responsive, it's easier to read. If, for example, my heart chakra doesn't make a feeling, I get a lifting, and it's a no. If it's a really bad no and I'm in danger, I then focus on my solar plexus, which I cannot ignore, because it goes like this, like a ball of tension in my, I'm just underneath my rib cage. So play with this at home and believe that it is part of your divine guidance, part of your higher self that is working with you to provide these skills that we've lost over centuries of time. So the next step we're going to look at today is judgment. Now, we've all been in a place of judgment. We've constantly looking at, is it good? Is it bad? Is it black? Is it white? Is it right? Is it wrong? There is always this going on. This is kind of like left brain, right brain. We feel balanced when we have only two options. And this is where media has such a strong pull over us. Because if they're trying to sell something, of course, they're going to sell you the opposite of what you are feeling. So if you're feeling, my hair looks a little bit lank today, they're going to sell you a shampoo that gives you full body. Everything is kind of working with this negative, positive and negative, which we've got used to. So it's unlikely that we will judge a man until we've walked in his shoes. Now, this is quite interesting. So if you're not judging something, it probably means that you've experienced this quite heavily in a previous lifetime. So this is quite interesting to see what pushes your buttons and what doesn't. Because once we have worn the shoes of an experience and we have suffered, we are very unlikely in the future to find this something that we can easily judge. So keep an eye out for this and see what things trigger you. Because if they're triggering you and you are judging, you probably still have to go through this in future lifetimes. Interesting point. So all of this, good and bad and right and wrong, creates war. Somebody always has to win. This is the ego. If they were making decisions through heart center, it would just be love. It would be this transference of this beautiful energy. So again, try and keep yourself in the present moment. This is absolutely fundamental, this key that you learn early on in the course to keep you well and to help you not get trapped in all of this stuff that's around us, that's constantly waiting for us to react. So brainwashing in media is how sales are made. So beware. You know now that happiness is not available in any stores. Happiness is in here of what you're learning. It's about self-development. And society categorizes us and makes us compare. Labeling and stereotyping has polarized society, causing a division of nations and countries. When you stay present, you cannot judge. So let's say, for example, that you're going to take a train ride somewhere, and you're coming down the steps, and on the platform is a lady who's got a huge bottom in a pair of black leggings. Now, we've all been there. we see things, it triggers us. Our mind's like, my goodness, how can she go out like that? Unkind. So let's just park our poor lady on the station with the big bottom in black leggings for a second over here, because we're going to look at her in a second to see if we think about things in a slightly different way that makes a difference. So ego is an unconscious reaction. It's about fear. Ego will drag you into fear and will give you that perspective about what you're looking at, how it will affect you. But again, if you stay in the present moment, this cannot be the case. When you are in judgment, you will not experience any internal joy or peace. You're busy, you're back in the mud, you're categorizing things, you're making a story out of it. And then when you've judged something and been horrible, you're going to beat yourself up for the rest of the day. How could I laugh at that person? How could I think such a horrible thing? We're back in the mud again. Staying present is going to help you with this. Now, is there an alternative to judgment? Right and wrong, black and white, good and bad. Is there anything that we can do? Yes, there is. Viveka. Viveka is a Sanskrit word, vivek. I only learned this from a client the other day who said, oh, we use that all the time, this phrase, but not in the right meaning. And no one actually knows what it means. And I just came across this. There wasn't a book or anything that was on this. I just came across this as part of my journey, and it gave me this Eureka moment. Viveka is discernment between what is eternal and what is not. So now we're doing this instead of this. Now change your perspective to stand on its head. It's going to feel a bit weird because we're not used to this. So just get yourself into this place for a moment. Eternal, that we are a light being having a temporary experience, that we are part of the universal whole, that we are conscious energy, that we are light beings. All of this is eternal, and all of this on earth is non-eternal. This is real, this is not real. See how this is feeling? It's a different way. It's an expanded way of thinking that the only real truth in life is through physics and metaphysics, through our knowing of energy, that the only reality that we can trust is beyond what we have in our physical reality, of what we create, of all of the things that are around us, which are actually an illusion. Just let this land for a minute. When we are in this place of trust, of belief, of knowing, of higher consciousness, we are lifting ourselves and elevating ourselves to a higher place of knowing, the top step, if you like. When we see life from this perspective, we are looking down on the illusion, the mud, the game that we've all chosen to play. It's discernment, it's detachment. It is a place of where your soul is home, where you are much more comfortable on this higher place. So I mentioned in an earlier lesson, and I will mention this again, this is like spinning plates. The top step, the reality that we are conscious beings having a temporary experience where nothing can touch us, hurt us, or influence us because we are part of the whole. We are here. We are firmly fixed in our attention on our spinning plate of truth at a higher level. Down here is life. I'm not going to look at it because I want you to carry on looking at truth, at belief. But this is life. So when we're in this place of totally focusing, believing, trusting, and being of higher consciousness, we can do life at the same time. But we don't need to do this, because when we do this, guess where we are? We're back in the mud. You don't need to be in this place. You can do this, even men. I know women are able to do many, many things, multitask at the same time. But when you're in higher consciousness, you see life like this. It's made all my legs go tingly. It's such a beautiful lesson, this one. This is the place that you need to remain. Nothing can touch you. You are a superpowered being of light who is able to do anything here. This is temporary. This is an illusion. This is created by society. And we as humans have been trained to be in it. There's no joy over there. There's no happiness. The only place where you will be happy is in viveka, in discernment, in a higher place of knowing. So this is such an important lesson this way, because I'm trying to take you out of the mud and make you realize that we've been sold this illusion where gas bills are important and I haven't got a job and my girlfriend's finished with me and whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's an illusion. This is the only place that we need to focus. We're coming back and back and back and back for thousands and thousands of lifetimes. We are just on earth to grow, to do lessons in a physical body, to live this experience that we call human life. Don't get too trapped in the mud. Keep your focus on the top step and you will be constantly happy. Now, this is taking you today to the fifth dimension. If you've risen with me and you've understood what I'm saying today, you will feel very differently. It will almost feel like you're at home. You've gone to this elevated place of energy. And this is where you should stay. Nothing can touch you if you stay in that place, regardless of how awful your mind is saying. It doesn't matter. It's just part of life. This way you can sing your way through life and be eternally happy with perspective that is not affected by societal pressure and polarization. So I'll just read the rest of this about viveka, because this is such an important day today, an important step. It is only with the objectivity of viveka that we begin to question whether our pursuits for objects and status lead to any lasting satisfaction or create a perpetual cycle of false hopes and disappointment. Viveka is the doorway to discovering authentic happiness. Just let this one land. So this is from ancient yoga philosophy, and do further research and learning on this. But if you got this step today, you won't have to worry about anything again in the future. This is a huge transition in your spiritual development and your being. And from that perspective, you will always be in a place of joy and bliss. So, hallelujah on that one. So now we're going to have a look a little bit about how the universe works. Feels like the energy's gone down in the room. We know that the universe works like a mirror. What we put out there in terms of vibration is what comes back to us. This is truth. This is the way that it works. We're going to be looking at law of attraction next week, which says, like unto itself is drawn. This is about vibration. So I'll save that until next week and we can discuss that further. But this is kind of a build up. Now I've got your vibration up here. Now you've discovered viveka and truth. We're getting you ready for next week to be in a position that we can start manifesting and bringing things into your life easily. Remember the boat that we looked at earlier on, flowing down the river, feet up, no oars, flow, everything good, rather than this, which is so painful, which is where most of the planet is. It's hard work going that way. So the aim of giving and receiving is to give without expecting anything in return. If you are expecting something, you are trading. So we've all been in this position where we've held the door open for somebody. We're in a good mood. Lady comes through, all her shopping bags, 3 children, the kids elbow you in the ribs and kick you in the shin, and she doesn't even say thank you. And ego kicks in and goes, thank you, and we get cross. So we've blown any intention of kindness that we were going to give because ego has got involved. We weren't in the present moment. Learning to give things without expecting anything in return will come back tenfold. But be careful that you're not doing it for this reason, because then again it becomes a trade. Stay in the present moment, stay in the heart center, do things from kindness with love, help others. This is why we're on earth. Remember lesson 1, love one another and earth. Takes 200 lifetimes in a cycle to learn this one lesson. It's time to start making a difference. So, when we give from a place of pure love, it produces endorphins and dopamines and it makes us happy. This happiness is part of our life that we can grasp in every moment. Take some time this week to do things that are kind and will help others. And just watch how your life starts changing. But be careful that the ego is not getting involved. And if you are trading, change it, because you are then undoing all of the good that you're trying to do. A good question to ask yourself this week is, what have I done that is of pure service to another human being? There should be something that you can say every day to that question. And the more you do, the happier you'll feel, the better your life will be, and the more the universe has the opportunity to bring you and match this vibration. This is where your life starts changing, where you get off this wheel of constant repeat and move into the place of flow. So let's have a little bit of a look as a recce, if you like, on where you started this week, this course with me, and where we are today. So 7 weeks, if you've been doing this weekly, which I hope you have, and been doing all your homework and everything that I've asked you to do, this is the difference that will have been achieved already. So when you came and started working with me in the very beginning, I would imagine that you were in 3-dimensional consciousness, in the mud, in ego, not exercising any of the things that I've been teaching you over these weeks. You would have been thinking from the mind only. You would have been vibrating at a very low vibration, which means that the only things in your life that are of a low vibration will be coming back to you. That's kind of how it works, like unto itself is drawn. Your soul would be shriveled, saying, find me, I want to be discovered. You would have had all this toxic energy, this pain body shadow, as part of your psyche. You would have been unconscious. You would have been asleep. Now, through this process of awakening that you've been doing with me, where we have been coming of a higher vibration. So we've just dipped into 5D today, but you will be firmly in 4D if you've been following all my steps. So this place, as our little man here, is a miserable place. It's where most people on the planet are, but there is a better place to be. So today we've dipped into 5D consciousness. This is the highest vibration that adults can achieve in a bodysuit on Earth. It's the same world, but I see the world in a completely different way to most. And it's impossible to really describe how to get there, what it is. It's still here. It looks the same, but I just see it in a different way. Our thoughts create our environment. So when we're of this higher knowing, we see the world in a very different place. So today, you will be happy, vibrating from bridge up, very high vibration, seeing the world from another place, trusting, believing, and being of a higher state of consciousness. Your soul is ignited. You are vibrating and shiny and excited and giving and loving. And your heart is found and your intuition is working with you. You're finding all your superpowers, which are helping you live a better life. A life of joy, a life of bliss, a life of excitement. So just these 2 steps here to see how much can be achieved in a very short space of time. Keeping this work going through the rest of your life is going to be part of something that you need to build into your daily routine. When you finish working with me and I've got you up here with wings floating around, you need to maintain it. You need to do your daily meditation. You need to do your gratitude, your being kind, staying in the present moment, staying baby steps, all of the things that I'm teaching you. These are tools that you will use for the rest of your life. And if you do, you will always stay here. You will never return. And who'd want to return to that illusion? You will never be in the place that you were when you started working with me. And so many benefits. Who would want to go back over there? So if you give love, you have love. This is what comes back. If you accept others, you're accepted. If you give support, you are supported. See how this giving and receiving is, this unity of vibration in the universe. When you forgive others, you will be forgiven. This goes with your gossiping and everything. If you're not gossiping, who's going to be talking about you? No one. No one is going to be bothered because you're not part of this negative vibration. When we are unconscious and we are spitting poison, we are fully trapped in ego, we will hurt others and we will be hurt. We will gossip. We will be the focus of gossip. We will give pain and we will receive pain. And when we hate others, we will be hated. So I know for a fact how I want to live my life and do. And I hope very much today that I have managed to show you this top step, this 5th dimensional reality of where we all can exist if we just do a little bit of work. So I hope this week that you will practice with your heart chakra so that you get more responsive, more trust in this, that you will be spinning your plate up here all the time, focusing your energy and your attention on belief and doing kind things to people to see how your life starts changing and how many beautiful things come into your life and to feel how different your energy is. Next week, as I said, is Law of Attraction. I want you to keep your energy up here because next week I'm going to show you and teach you the secrets of manifesting your wildest dreams. But for this, you need to have high energy. So try and keep this all week, doing beautiful things, focusing here, doing your meditation, doing your reading, being kind to others, smiling. Keep your energy up, positivity, and then next week we will be ready to start manifesting and bringing abundance into your life. So this week, thank you very much. It was a great one, and I hope you enjoy these steps this week, and I will see you next week for Law of Attraction. Thank you.